Welcome to the show. This week we focus on stability in Africa with a key look at the situation in South Sudan. We get your views on the issues and we have Africa's top 10. You're watching the Africa Leadership Dialogues. I'm Julie Gichuru. The African Union and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, are both focused on finding a lasting solution to the challenges in South Sudan, but the country still remains unstable. On the show this week, we host Cabinet Minister in charge of Agriculture and Forestry, Beda Machar Deng. He shares his views with us. Thank you, Minister, for joining us on the Africa Leadership Dialogues. The continent has been watching South Sudan and there's a lot of passion for the country. We're glad to see a stabilization now. And so let's start talking development matters. Minister, in terms of agriculture, where is South Sudan now? How are you seeking to increase productivity in the country?
Thank you very much. The most disturbed institution when there is instability is agriculture. Agriculture is very much disturbed because the population involved displacement, right. And then also the people will be subjected to hardships. And that was the time that actually when crisis happened, that was the time that people were almost farming. In the current situation now, there is stability. All the states are now stable, and the few states that have been having some problems, about 3 states, are now also stable.
As the minister, in the midst of a crisis, I think it would just be interesting for everyone to know, what are you saying in the cabinet meetings with the leadership? What are just give us some insights into some of the discussions.
In the Council of Ministers, it has been generally agreed already that we need peace. The government was elected, the vice president was there, and the state governments also, the state governors also were elected. People went for a referendum after election of the president by the people of the Republic of South Sudan, and people went for a referendum. And the independence was achieved in November 2011. And in this sense, people are hoping that now election is at the corner. It's just 2015. People go election. Presidency position is going to be elected. All the legislature in the country are going to be elected. All the governors are going to be elected. Even the commissioners, according to our constitution, commissioners are going to be elected. So people are just in their mind, election, whom they want as a governor, whom they want as a commissioner, whom they want as a president, whom they want a member of the parliament, the people will elect them. This is what people are waiting for.
What is the mood of the people on the ground? For instance, are the farmers going back to farming? Are the people settling in?
Yes, as I'm talking to you, the people have gone back to farming. My ministry have distributed the seeds already, has distributed also the fuel for cultivation, and distributed also the tractors to the all 10 states, and the people are now farming. There's no problem, only that those who have been displaced in the neighboring countries are the ones who are still fearing that may come. But the policies are there, the governors have gone to their areas, to their counties, their states, their counties and their payams, and people are now stable.
The big issue that's been raised around the countries that are successful when it comes to increasing agriculture on the ground and increasing prosperity around agriculture has been goodwill by leadership, prioritization. Yes. And so does your government have the will to ensure that there's a transformation in agriculture in South Sudan? And what are your priorities?
Yes. That is the most important symbolic issue that we have in the country. The government is very much committed in supporting agriculture program within the Republic of South Sudan. The president has formed the Food Security Council, which has been chaired by him himself, And all the members of the cabinet, the council ministers, are members of the Security Council. So anything that is discussed at that higher level. Coming down the government also, there is a program that has been set up, zonal efforts for agricultural transformation. And they selected a specific number of crops that should be concentrated on.
Right.
These are the cereal food. And the staple food in the country is the cereal, be it sorghum, be it maize, be it rice, millet, and wheat. When the agriculture ministers met in this hall, they declared that wheat is going to be added as a part of the supplement, the nutrition security, as a part of parcel of food security, which is now incorporated to be also produced in the country. And these are the things that the country is very much committed to that, because there is no another alternative. There is no another way where the Republic of South Sudan can get wealth. It's only through agriculture.
That's powerful.
And there are a lot of potentials that we have. We have enough land, fertile, virgin land, never been planted one time back. Even before the Sudan government was ruling South Sudan, people never stepped in that place. There's also good forests. 39% of our land is forest. And even these forests, there are forest products and the forest and non-wood products. Non-wood products include the most important, resourceful, very expensive gum arabic. It is from South Sudan.
Right. I remember at the signing of the CPA, a passionate speech made referring to South Sudan as the Garden of Eden, that this was the original place and it must be restored.
That's it.
And we'll come to more on that in a moment. Let's go first to the youth. And we know there are many young people seeking opportunities in many parts of the continent, but particularly in areas where there has been or there was conflict. We have a lot of young people who need to be disarmed and reintegrated into society and given opportunities so they don't go back to what they have known.
Exactly.
How are you doing that in South Sudan?
The government has given, not only the youth alone, has given 25% as a woman right in any institution, in the cabinet, in the parliament, in all institutions, 25% for women.
So that's 25%?
25%.
For women, right?
For women. And they have also given 20% for the youth.
And 20% for the youth
for
as
the
well.
youth. And also they are saying the 25% which is given to women, this is the right of the woman. But the women, capable women, can compete in other seats for 10 positions.
Yes.
That makes 35%. And if the youth also have got the capability, they are given more 5% to make 25%. If you make 35% and 25%, you add it up to give you a couple of opportunities. So the youth are now being targeted to be empowered, to be educated, to be capable, also to rule and participate in leadership, because people have been in the war for long. And our youth also have been very small when people were fighting. And the elderly, they also were fighting. So there was no opportunity for youth to learn. In a kind of situation, the youth that came from diaspora, from abroad, from Khartoum, from Egypt, different countries, are coming into the country. Fortunately, they are coming with good knowledge. We have 300,000 youth well educated in North America.
300,000 living outside the continent due to insecurity, being productive elsewhere.
For the last 25 years.
Yes.
So these young ones, they were taken out into a foreign country, especially the Kenya, and also Ethiopia here. And these youth, they were taken out from the war through Ethiopia, through this country. Yes. And this country has done a great deal to support our youth. Now these youth are capable, they are qualified, and they are back into the country, and they are now being put into government institutions.
To increase capacity for others as well.
Yes, and they have also been asked, you will not only be thinking to work as a government employee, but think in your own private sector. Work in cooperatives, form youth groups, youth leagues.
Yes, grow businesses.
And go for businesses. Then you will be supported. And the government also has established agricultural development bank. And this year, it has given about 35 million South Sudanese pounds to support the bank. It's 350 million.
So they can access finance to start.
Yes, so they can give soft loans to the farming population, soft loans to the women union, soft loans also to the youth league who are involved in agriculture production. The same thing also, there is a cooperative bank, South Sudan Cooperative Bank, in collaboration with the Kenyan bank. I'm happy to mention this because Kenya has realized that, and Kenya has got very strong cooperative society, cooperative banks. They have got a lot of cooperative movements in Kenya.
Yes. And
we like that one. We have incorporated that one into agriculture program in South Sudan, and they are now operating. They are going to give sub-loans to the farming population. So you have seen now how the farmers have been approached in different directions.
Stay with the Africa Leadership Dialogues.
Minister, I've got to say, it's exciting to hear you speak about all this because I can see you are also very passionate about this.
It is my responsibility.
I want you now to speak to, you've spoken about support from Ethiopia, collaboration with Kenyan cooperative societies. We look at the continent and we realize we need each other. We can learn from each other.
Indeed.
We can support each other. And when you see some of our states going back into conflict, what words of advice would you have for them, having been in a conflict situation for so long?
If you want to become a leader, a ruler, come through a democratic means. But don't make coups. Don't make coups. If you make coups, you will be having sympathizers. The government will have also sympathizers because this is the government they have elected for.
And then
they
you
don't
have
want to be
civil war.
sought again. And then now this brings civil war. I'm very much affected in agriculture because agriculture is very much destroyed. Because the youth have moved for the war. The youth also have been displaced. The population has been displaced. I have nowhere to do. So if there is really peace, this country will open a way and this country will need help. Myself, I need help from Ethiopia.
Right. Tell us, what is your short-term and long-term plan for South Sudan? What do we expect South Sudan to look like in the next 5 years and then in the next 20 years?
Yes. In the next 40 years, we need to look in South Sudan. It's free, it's peaceful, justice implemented, and prosperity in this country. Next 40 years. Now, our short term is that myself and the president, who is the chairperson of Food Security Council, and I'm also the secretary of that Food Security Council, it is in our mind indeed that we have to mobilize, massive mobilization of our population into agriculture program. So our smallholder farmers is empowered. And you know, you cannot differentiate the smallholder farmer and the women youth and women group. It's almost the same.
Because so many smallholder farmers are women.
Are women. If we empower them, these are the people who fought the war for the last 21 years. They fought the war because it was their food that the army were eating.
Right.
Now, can we not, this is not a time for to compensate them by giving them agricultural implements, giving them agricultural inputs like seeds, talk to them, give them knowledge, how they can use this in their farms, in their homes. So this is the life that we need. If we give them tools, give them seeds, now they will increase their farm size to a little bit, 5 hectares. If they have the 5 hectares and they adopt improved agricultural management practices in their farms and their home, then they will increase the productivity. And if the productivity is increased, you may say that a farmer with adoption of all this may have 10 bags of 90 kilograms per fedan. And if you have got 5, you will have 50 bags. And you will now have 50 bags. A family of 12 members in a family may have about 12 bags for a year.
Feed the family?
Feed the family.
And
the balance now will go to the market.
Right.
Now the food security, nutrition security is now solved. When you go another economic security, income security, now what that balance is that now the child will go to the school.
Yes.
Now the loved one will go to the hospital when he's ill, either be father or mother or member of the family, will go to the hospital. Should there be any balance? Ramani, there will be balance. then you have to try to look into that. You have to change the house amenities. This house that you have been in already, a small cottage, now will improve it into a little bit modern.
Improved standards of living.
Exactly. And this is the standard of living we want to improve to a small holder farmer who was depending on subsistence farming, using the small hoe. I want to take away this small hoe from their hands so they can also relax. They can also see other things by seeing the machines working in the field. Their cows are also given ox flowers, they are flowering. And you see, and the women may be relaxed because the women were the most tired in the farm.
Yes.
If they don't do it, their children will not survive.
It's inspirational. Are you feeling inspired? I certainly am. I think the challenge you've given us, your vision, Minister, your challenge now is to make it reality. But we often talk about the fact that in Africa, it's not just the leadership, it's also the citizenry. I want you, please, as we close this interview, to look into the camera and deliver a message direct to the people watching across Africa and Africans across the globe as well. How can each of us play a constructive role in growing and transforming this continent, please?
My message to African continent as a whole, this is the right time for us to tolerate the temper, tolerate the anger. Should there be any difference between a leader and a leader, the issue is not because of the arms. Why cannot put down the arms and negotiate? If you are unable to negotiate, I think also the community around you will be able to bring you into the right place, into negotiation. Right. Negotiation is the only solution to our problems. Wait for election. Our president has pledged that during the time that he signed the comprehensive peace agreement, he said he is not be able to bring his people, either the Sudan or the Republic of South Sudan, back to the war. And this is the same thing our president is saying now. He doesn't want anybody during his rule to die or to go back to war. Let us see also the development. Let us be defeated by the development, not the war. And that is the message I want to tell to African leaders, that let us come together. Let us see our population. The majority of them are the ones who are hungry. Majority of them, we have got poverty. Majority of them are the ones sick. They are the ones dying. And we are just competing over them with the powers. Why can we not see our people for what they can eat today, what they can eat tomorrow? Their children are going to schools, their loved ones taken to the hospitals, and we try to support them where they want to go towards development. This is a message.
Thank you so much, Mr. Minister. Amazing.
Thank you.
Stay with the Africa Leadership Dialogues.
Now time for your views on the issues.
This week we asked you, how can African states bolster their export industry? Joyce Olayo says, patent laws that incriminate Kenyan products in the world market should be reconsidered, reviewed and adjusted to attract high demand and boost Kenya's economy simultaneously.
Hello, my name is Soila Soitara and I'm watching African Leadership Dialogue from Nairobi about the question on how Africa can expand its exporting abilities. I think they need to focus more on their accessibility to capital, electricity, technology and irrigation of the plots of lands that we have to be able to produce high-value nutritious foods.
To join our conversation, go to our G+ page, Africa Leadership Dialogues, on Facebook, Africa Leadership Dialogues, on Twitter, @AfricaLD, and on WhatsApp, send your video comments to +254 715 816 033.
And now to Africa's Top 10.
On Africa's Top 10 this week, we feature states with growing domestic markets. These findings were arrived at by evaluating the sum of GDP plus value of imports of goods and services minus value of export of goods and services. It is ranked out of 7. Starting us off at number 10 is Kenya. It is ranked at number 70 globally with an index of 3.54. Coming in at number 9 is Angola, which recorded an index of 3.56 and has been ranked at position 69 globally. Positioned at number 8 is Ghana. It is ranked at number 68 globally with an index of 3.57 globally. At number 7 is Tunisia. The North African state comes in at number 63 globally with an index of 3.6. Ethiopia comes in at number 6. Ethiopia garnered an index of 3.8 and was ranked at number 58 globally. Taking the 5th spot is Morocco with an index of 4.0 and is ranked globally at number 53. Slotted in at number 4 is Algeria, which is ranked at number 45 globally with an index of 4.2. Positioned at number 3 is Nigeria with an index of 4.5 and is ranked at number 31 globally. Coming in at number 2 is Egypt with an index of 4.7 and is ranked 27th globally. And at number 1 this week is South Africa, ranked at number 24 globally with an index of 4.8. And that's Africa's top 10 this week.
We end with a simple but powerful African proverb. This one is a Zulu proverb and it goes: "A tree is known by its fruit." And so, Africa, what fruit are we producing? Blessings to you and blessings to Africa.